Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. Redmissed in the house once again. How you doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I'm doing great. And we, my friends, are playing some more Magic Legion. Now, I want to go ahead and jump into Server 72 today because I want to show you a fun deck that I've been using um, to obviously get leveled up a bit more. Because it's a very viable deck. Really, really good to use. So what? Basically, it's a self heal, or not so much a self healing deck, but kind of like a self survival deck. So quite hard to use in arenas and like the dungeons and stuff because you've got to fight other people. But against bosses and stuff, or the PvE of the game, it's really, really good. So basically, the heroes that you're going to need for your front row are going to be self-healing tanks. So you're going to need the Source of Fear. He's going to be your main source of damage receiver. Then you're going to need the Blood Axe Lord because he's going to be your main damage dealer, while obviously being able to heal himself up. You're then going to need the Guard of Dawn because he's just amazing, and you're also going to need the Chicken Knight. Now, the reason why I've gone for these is because these two heroes, they have the healing spells. So obviously, if we look down here, this is your main healer. Obviously, every time he will attack, it's going to be a heal skill. So it's going to be a case of, if you look in the very first one, HP equal to 80% of the attack. So obviously you need to build up this hero's attack. For the second skill, 300% of self attack to all friendly units is going to be restored. So you need to make sure that this hero has good attack stats. The better the attack is on this hero, the better the healing is going to be. So as you can see here, with the level only being like level 48, I've majority gone for magic damage. I've put a teeny bit into heals because obviously you don't want him to die in 2 seconds. But mostly you want his attack power up so he can heal for more. Now, with Dawn, obviously I don't have very good gear on him at the moment because he is a third physical hero, and I only ever needed 2 physical hero gear, so I've kind of deleted the stuff here, so I don't really have very good stuff on him at the moment. But his skills are slightly different. So if you look at his very first skill, he's gonna steal 50 rage off of the person that he hits, so that's great. His secondary skill, he's gonna heal for 1000% of his self, physical, and magical defense to the friendly unit with the lowest HP. So whoever has the lowest HP, he's going to heal for his physical and magical defense. So in that case, you need to make sure that you prioritize his magical and physical stats. So when it comes to Wiz, you're going to want to obviously, when it comes to the ability points, you can pretty much go 50-50 in everything. So rather than setting him up in HP and strength like I have, you could probably give him a few points in Wiz, because obviously if you put points in Wiz, that's going to make his Wiz defense go up as well. Or his magical defense go up. Obviously in the personal points, you're going to be able to up the physical and magical defense. So really good stuff. Now with the Source of Fear, you're going to want him on the left hand side, so he's going to receive the most amount of damage in your team. And the reason being for this is because the Source of Fear's AoE heal is going to be able to heal him up a significant amount more than what the Bloodlord can take or can heal up. So therefore he's going to be your main source of receiving damage. So with that, you want to give him high HP, but you also want to give him a good amount of strength so that when he does hit with his AoE attack, he does heal himself up for quite a lot. So I would suggest going for a 50-50 build between HP and physical attack. Now with the Bloodlord, he's your damage dealer, so you pretty much want to focus on putting all of his stats into attack. Give him a little bit of HP so that he has a little bit of more survivability on his stats, but majority you just want him to do good attack damage, because he has good attack, but then his secondary skill is going to give him a good amount of HP buffs. So that's the heroes that you're going to want to bring. In terms of spells, this is kind of down to your own personal thing, but 4 spells that you have to have in this deck. So first off, you want the curse because obviously it's going to cause less damage. The secondary spell, you want the elemental heal because it's going to heal you over time and it's going to make you take less damage. The third spell, you're going to want purification because obviously it negates the debuff on you. And the fourth spell, you want the health because of obviously the insane amount of health that it gives you. Now, the thing that you need to do in this is you have to go into the arenas, into the libraries and buy the upgrades for these spells. Now, the biggest thing is obviously upgrading the purification, because when you go and upgrade the purification in the Forgotten the Forgotten Library, which is in, I believe, Zone 6, that's going to go and give you 8 seconds of purification. So it means that none of your heroes are going to be able to have any... it's going to remove a debuff that gets put on you, but then for 8 seconds you're not going to be able to have a debuff added to you. So you can't be frozen, you can't be stunned, you can't be knocked down, none of that for 8 seconds. So that's really, really good. Obviously the curse, you need to upgrade that from being 50% up to the 90%, because then obviously you're going to do 90% more damage and take 90% less damage. That's perfect. Now, one of the most important spells is the Elemental Heal. Now, the reason why this is one of the most important spells is because it lasts for 12 seconds. Now, for 12 seconds, you're going to every 2 seconds, you're going to receive 300% of your attack damage as healing. But when you upgrade it, it actually lasts for 8 seconds, but then once you've upgraded it, you get the added benefit of 20% damage reduction, and you also get an extra 4 seconds of time. So for 12 seconds, you're going to have 20% less damage, and you're going to get a heal for every 2 seconds that spell is active. Really good stuff. Now, for the health at the very end, you just want to upgrade that because obviously once it's fully upgraded, you're going to get 400% healing from your own attack power for all heroes. Now, every other skill is your personal opinion. You can take whatever you like. These are just the spells that I like to do because obviously you've got the Earthquake and the Volcano, which I've just accidentally removed from my deck. You've got them two, which are AoE damage. Obviously, the Earthquake also gives stun effect. The Volcano is just a AoE damage dealer. Then I like to bring the Ice Ball because of obviously we've got that 100% chance to freeze for 4 seconds. Then we've got the Thunderfall because we've got a 50% chance to stun them. Again with the Lightning Strike because we've got a chance to stun them. And Pig just because of the fact that it gives 70% extra damage on somebody when you've turned them into a pig. So they're the combination of skills that I like to bring when using this deck. Now, I'm going to show you it in action a little bit. Now, I'm not sure how high I'm going to be able to play this deck because obviously things aren't leveled up. Heroes don't have full skills. But I want to go ahead and show you what I mean by where to level up the skills. So obviously if we come into the Death Rift and we scroll down to the front, you're going to be able to go into the library here. Now, this skill right here is one of your main needed spells because it adds 20% damage reduction, and it also adds that bonus stuff. So you have to have that spell. Now, over in the passive spells, if you've got the runes, you need to get the Blood of God, because if you get the Blood of God, that's gonna add 20% damage reduction to your heroes as well, instead of just your normal hero. So that's going to be a really, really good skill to have if you can get that as well, guys. But as you can see, I've only got 1,959 runes on this account, so I can't go and buy this spell, unfortunately. But hey, that's just the way it is. So I'm pretty sure I can't fight this high up because of obviously the hero level isn't very good. The Source of Fierce hero level is pretty good. He's like a level 4, but everyone else is basically level 1 or 2. So with that kind of level, that would tell me that I'm probably going to be able to take care of Snowville no problem. But in the Shadow Forest, I will probably start to have some issues. So I'm going to try and have a couple of fights in the Shadow Forest and see what we can do. Because as I say before, like you kind of have to learn the limits of particular cards. So as you can see here, the Source of Fear is on the left hand side. So he's going to be taking the majority of the damage, and then everyone else is basically just going to sit there and just pretty much heal up behind him. So these particular heroes are going to have damage towards the back line, and they have knockdown effects as well. So this is why it's also a good thing to obviously come in and fight on this zone. But as you can see there, these guys were able to handle that no problem. So let's try moving up here slightly more. Let's try one of the mini boss battles. See if we can do anything against one of the bosses. Now I'm gonna try not to use as many skills as I can, just because I don't want to obviously show you the strength with the skills. I want to show you the strength of the actual team. So as you can see here, like, look at the fact that they're taking tons of damage, whereas if I hit the final skill, if I can, no, I'm not going to be able to hit the final skill, because I've been stunned. I should have used the other spell. But if you look at this, like, look at how low the HP was on the Blood Axe Lord, and now with that final spell in the back, 400% heal. That's insane how much health you can give him. And these two guys in the front row, they're just going to be able to survive forever. Because of obviously they're just going to be able to keep on going with everything. Like, this guy has a stun spell, so that's quite annoying. Like, if we turn this guy into a pig, we're going to be able to wreck through his health, and then we're going to be able to do some good stuff and things. Now, I've purposely picked this level because of the fact of this level has a lot of people that are going to attack the back row, and the reason why I wanted to show you this is because of the fact of I'm not saying that because of all of the healing that this deck brings that you're unbeatable, because if people have heavy damage to the back row, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But also you've got to remember that my two heroes in the back row, they are very low level, they don't have very good gear on, so they're not going to be as effective as they would if you have good gear, if you have the higher levels. Because if you look at that, like, look at the fact of I was knocked down, and if you have the purification spell, you're not going to be able to be knocked down like that for 8 seconds. So you've got to remember that at the moment this deck is only sort of half full, but that's why I'm kind of showing you it, because of obviously if you can get those spells, or even if you have those spells, you're going to be able to wreck with this deck, because everything heals up. And if you look here, I'm not even using the spells that I should be using. Like, I'm literally just letting the team fight. I'm not really healing up or doing things that I should be doing. So if I show you a little bit differently now, if I go and hit the elemental heal thing, if you look at the aura, that means that that aura is making it so that we're healing up and we're taking less damage. And look at the difference, guys, hitting that spell. Now, if I go and hit my curse spell, that's going to make it so that the enemy team is now doing less damage and they're also taking more damage. So really good stuff there. If I then go and hit my pig, we're going to be able to do some good damage to the tank in the team. Now, this, as I said before, this deck is all about like being able to heal your own team up. So the more damage that like obviously your team can do is better. Like the AoE damage from the Source of Fear is pretty much what is going to kill everyone. Like if you look, we've been doing damage to a lot of the tank, or to the tank the majority of the time, but between the Source of Fear, the Volcano and the Earthquake, we've taken out the 3 people in the back, or the one on the right, the 2 in the back, and we've almost killed the actual hero before we've killed the tank. So that's what this deck is about. This deck is about pretty much negating tanks. So if you're playing somebody that has tanks in the front row and they're very high level tanks, this deck is going to be able to survive because of obviously you have 2 very big healing tanks, and then your 2 heroes in the back are going to help heal your tanks up even more. So they're going to be super hard to, like, look at this, like the purification right now is going to get rid of that stun right there. Like this is probably one of, or going to be probably one of the harder battles to win. But this is the part of the point. Obviously, if you've got the purification with the spell at the very beginning, or the upgrade version of the purification spell, you're actually going to want to put that where you've got the curse, because that's going to be your very first spell, because you don't ever want your team being stunned. Then after that, you're going to want to put your curse. So the lineup that I would actually have this particular build would be purification, curse, elemental heal, volcano, earthquake, volcano, and then you will want any skills in any order after that. But if you look here, guys, like I got locked down and my 2 tanks have survived because they can heal themselves up. They're of a high enough level to obviously be fighting in this part of the arena as well, which is a huge thing, whereas my heroes in the back were not. So they died very, very quickly. That's one thing that you've got to remember here as well. So before you kind of rip me in the comments, turning around and saying, oh, well, I wouldn't use Dawn or anything because he's really bad, look how quick he dies. You've got to remember he's not of level to be fighting this high up. The only reason I'm showing you this zone is because I know that my 2 tanks are of a good enough level to be able to fight in this zone, and they also like most of these troops target the troops in the back line, and I wanted to show you the difference. Like look at that elemental heal. If you looked at Dawn just then, he was at like half HP, hit the elemental heal, he's going to heal up, and like look at that, the proc, they're just all just healed up, guys, and they're taking 20% less damage. Now I've just gone and put the curse on, so my team for currently is taking 110% less damage because of the 2 spells. If you look at my hero and she's got those 2 blue wings on her back, that is actually the God of Blood spell, which is a really good spell. If you have the upgrade for that, then obviously she's going to be able to, those wings are going to be on all of your heroes, which means that there's a further 20% reduction in damage. So it's going to show the fact, let's just get rid of this tank really quickly. So with all of them spells active at the same time, you're going to have like 130 reduction on your damage that you're receiving. as well as all of the healing that you can provide as well. So that you've got to remember that is a really good thing to have. Now, you could go one step further when it comes to healing yourself up even more, and that is actually change your your mount. Um, I like to use the Velociraptor, as I've said in many videos before, because of the added speed and the added rage that he provides. But as your heroes get a little bit higher level and they can survive without the rage and the speed, I would kind of switch over to the Behemoth, I believe it is. Let's go check. So if we go to the mounts, I would switch to the Behemoth because of the fact that if you look at his skill 1, he reduces stun duration by 20% as his first skill. So if anyone's running people like the Witch, who stuns if they use Earthquake, which is a stun, anything like that, it's going to reduce the time on that spell significantly, which is going to be really good. And his skill 3, which is the most important one, he is actually going to give a, like, this is a level 2, so I've upgraded it once. He's going to give 11.2% chance to turn 50% of the damage from any of your attacking into HP. So if your Source of Fear does damage with his spell, he has a 10% chance to heal himself up. So he's going to do his AoE damage, which is going to heal him anyway, and then he's going to have an extra an extra 10% chance to get even more healing from that spell. So it's a really good thing. Like, obviously the Blood Axe Lord, he's going to heal from the spell. Like, look at that, guys. I've just taken a ton of damage right there, but hit the instant healing spell, and it's gonna proc, and look at how much it's healing up my Dawn guy. It's insane how much damage that spell, or how much that spell heals for. Like, I'm not going to be able, I don't think I'm going to be able to beat this boss with this particular deck, but we're going to have a look. We're going to see if we can. Like, maybe we can. I'm not too sure. Like, I think the two tanks in the front, like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have more than enough healing capability and damage to overpower him, but it might last for a little while. But then again, it's not really lasting that long. Now, the Dawn is probably going to die in this fight the same as the Knight did, because of obviously the AoE effect from the Source of Fear. But the main thing is with this deck is there's not a lot of rage. So if you don't have tons of rage output, then obviously your heroes are going to start taking a fair bit of damage, because if they can't keep using that rage, then they're not going to be able to keep healing themselves up. And the downside to the Source of Fear is the less people that are in the fight, the less he's going to heal himself, because he does AoE healing. So the more people that are in the match, the more he's going to heal. Whereas the Blood Lord is the Blood Axe Lord is a bit different. Like, obviously all of his healing comes from one single target. So that's also why I've purposely showed you the boss battle, because if you looked at the difference right there, the Source of Fear struggled against the boss because he can't deal as much damage as the Blood Axe Lord can, so therefore he can't heal up as much. But when it comes to a normal fight, the Source of Fear actually heals up for a lot more, because there's a lot more people on the field. So in this fight here, there's 5 people on the field right now, so the healing from the Source of Fear is going to be 5 times the amount of what the Blood Axe Lord is. Because if you look at the stats, the Blood Axe Lord is going to go and heal for 700% of the damage that he deals to a single person, but the Source of Fear heals for 300% of the damage that he does to any person. Because he does AoE damage, there's 5 people on the field, that means he's going to be doing a lot more healing than the Source of Fear, because obviously he's going to be doing 1500 healing because he's hitting 300% on every single person. Therefore, double the amount of healing as the other guy. So again, like look at the fact of like look at that, guys. I was half HP. That's why I've purposely not done anything. Half HP on all heroes. Hit that one heal, and they're healing up for tons of HP right now. And then obviously, as soon as they can't heal up like crazy amounts, then obviously it will only heal for like say 5,000. But one thing that you've got to remember as well is healing has a chance to crit as well. So if a healing spell crits, it's gonna crit for like double the amount, which is pretty insane. It's not very often that it will do it, but it will do it occasionally, which is pretty crazy. But anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Peace on the streets.